Chapter 9. Rays of lemony light strafe through the huge sash windows as a figure lies stirring in bed. Brontay slowly opens her eyes to find herself in the sleeping chamber of a long-dead princess. Interior, blue room. The electric blue space shrinks and expands as if it is the inside of a slow-beating, freezing heart. It thrums.
Blue. Blue. Electric. Blue.
Brontay looks down at her body, which is a pink blur. The giant wall clock ticks a second forwards and a second backwards. Clockface appears, demonic and demented.
Back and forth, back and forth. One step forward, two back. Back and forth, back and fucking forth.
A humanoid but alien figure emerges from the walls as if the space itself is giving birth. It cools from blue to pink and gently touches down in front of Brontay. It is the Inquisitor.
We have to ask the questions for your sake. For everyone's sake. The people who took you would stop at nothing to destroy everything. Do you understand? We are sorry.
Brontay is suddenly aware of being naked, her arms covering her breasts. The Inquisitor leads her to the throbbing blue wall, and its hand joins into the goo. Brontay's skin turns blue. They melt into the wall. Brontay blinks and finds herself in the cramped container on an iron bed barely big enough for a child. Vasily sits smoking a cheroot, casually studying her. He slugs down the remains of a bottle of tequila. Brontay becomes aware of a garland around his neck.
Where are we?
You're making habit of missing the party, Sasha. Always sleeping. Food and sleep are the enemy. Remember that. Make mental note in brain.
Yeah. Where are we?
Vasily puts out his smoke and swirls the worm around in the empty bottle.
I don't think I'll take the chance. You want it?
Brontay shakes her head.
I don't feel well.
That'll be the ether I gave you.
What?
In answer to your question, 240 nautical miles east of the Panama Canal.
He points the empty bottle at Brontay.
Bastard!
I would have loved to have taken you sightseeing. Costa Rica is one of the less polluted places in the Americas. But, well, your pear-shaped English S is worth too much.
Vasily nods towards a vinyl record player.
Put some tunes on to soothe my head, would you, darling?
Eat shit and die.
The Russian grunts and picks out a vinyl disc. He settles it on the player.
It's all about making journey go faster. For you, for me.
I don't believe you're their son.
The music starts. Vasily presses a finger to his lips.
I don't care, Anglichanka. I trust no one but the man you see before you. Maybe mother and father, but they don't count. 3 sides of the same hole. I'll give you a friendly warning, Alexandra. Diablo will one day offer you the world. The moon, the stars, and the sea. Then he will take your soul. Maybe you can't understand what this really means, but you will. Before you take his hand, you will have to get past me.
Brontay shakes her head.
Are you going to tell me what is happening? Hardly going to run away.
You wriggle all you want. You're just going to have to trust me. Look on bright side. At least life is interesting now.
He presses a finger to his lips.
Read book or something and shut pie hole.
Exterior, container ship, night. Strains of the music ebb into the clear night as the cruel sea pitches the huge vessel to and fro like a paper boat. Waves crash against the hull of the MV Phileas Fogg. Interior, grand bedroom, morning. Brontay sits up and sees Scanlan and Fazal watching her. Fazal records her with a camera made of hard light before scribbling down notes into his moleskin book. Vital signs and medical statistics dance around the hyperreal projection.
Where's Maria?
The two men look at each other but don't respond. Brontay collapses back into sleep. Scanlan watches Fazal scribble.
What's done is done, Homo sapien.
Fazal continues to scribble.
Sow-pigged, poiled, she's gone. She was a good skin for so swine, but now she's remorged in ashes. So why are you doing this, huh? Why not return your ass to Mama Antonia? I mean, you'll be safe, be happy, be ignorant.
Someone has to record this. We could all be dead soon. And I made a promise to her.
Scanlan laughs and leaves Fazal with his subject.
That's the spirit, Fazraz. But you know we're gonna have to let you go. There's too many crazies about.
Fazal gapes like a fish out of water.
You can't. Susan's last wishes were, you can't.
I can, and it's a mercy. Sorry.
Fazal chokes. Scanlan pats his shoulder. Kutz saunters in with Cruz in tow.
Why are you two here?
Scanlan claps Fazal on the shoulder again.
Dr. Dertz wants to do some freaky diagnosis.
They leave. Kutz observes Brontay sleeping. Interior, container, day. Brontay sleeps. Vasily watches. A cold clank of metal on metal shakes the container. She comes to, black circles around her eyes.
Is this it?
Yep.
Exterior, container, day. The container is lowered onto the dockside. Ruins of a city, Liverpool, cast a morbid, crow-pecked shadow over the horizon. 3 unkempt dock workers attend as the door to the container is unlocked and opened. Blinking in the sunlight, Vasily and Brontay emerge. She touches the tarmac, as if to check it is real. Vasily coughs up a gold watch of phlegm and spits it into the wharf.
Better.
He hauls Brontay up from the ground.
Come on. It's a long walk to London.
Walk?
They shuffle down the path. The dockers watch them.
Thanks, lads.
Exterior, railway track in countryside, day. The line is barely visible beneath the weeds. It has been a long time since a train passed through here. Vasily and Brontay trudge along. She observes a crow picking a worm out of the wet soil as the rain starts, going from light to hard in an instant.
Can't we stop until this passes?
Vasily carries on walking and motions for her to follow.
Oh, come on.
Why must you keep complaining, Anglo-Tranka? It is all your English are any good at doing.
I'm not English. England doesn't exist anymore. It's like calling you a Muscovite.
Vasily scoffs and quickens again.
Oh.
Brontay pulls a shoe off and holds up her foot like it is Exhibit A. Vasily has to stop.
Blood blisters, look. Tell me I haven't got a good reason to stop now. I don't know where I am. Probably have pneumonia or something, and look at my fucking feet.
I could give you something worse than pneumonia, you whiny little runt.
Threats, eh? That's about your level. Why was I taken? Why am I back? For the 1000th time!
Only the 1000th?
Oh,
He picks Brontay up,
put me down!
slings her over his shoulder and continues the march.
Not unless you wanted to carry me.
Exterior, railway track in countryside, night. Brontay is asleep as Vasily eases her down. He rolls up his coat to support her head and squats on an iron sleeper. He regards Brontay and the eerie quiet. Rustling in a hedgerow gets his attention. He pulls out a blade.
Good. Supper.
Exterior, railway track in countryside, night. Brontay snores as Vasily roasts a wild pig over a fire. He checks her forehead for a temperature and nods before loosening his belt.
Excuse me a moment.
Interior, hospital ward, day. Bright sunshine strafes across an immaculate 1950s-style ward. Brontay sits up in bed sporting striped pyjamas with a glass thermometer poking out of her mouth. The row of beds goes on for an infinity either side. A nurse attends a station opposite Brontay, her back to the patient. She spins round. It is the Inquisitor. In a clearer view now, with no nose or mouth, just two large insectile green eyes. Brontay flinches as she approaches. The walls split, plaster and dust exploding as angry red intestines burst out from within. The Inquisitor's bonnet falls away and a shock of red hair spills from within, immediately familiar to Brontay.
Don't worry about that. Look into my eyes. That is where you are safe.
Her voice is now Maria Schwartz's.
You know me.
Brontay can see the breath in front of her face. She shivers, and the bear from the wood ambles down the aisle, sporting a nurse's bonnet on its head.
Let me away. This isn't real. This isn't real.
Well, what is real?
Another nurse approaches. It is Brontay herself in uniform. She picks up her wrist, checking her pulse.
They have you, don't they? You've broken by them and now you're part of them. Life is much better on this side, Alexandra. You've made it so far, yes, you have. But it's time to cash in now. Everything is yours. Except my soul.
A nose and mouth grow out of the Inquisitor's face. It is Katia Kutz.
The subject doesn't have a soul. How in fuck could it have a soul? Don't be so ridiculous, sister.
What?
What? What? No. Why, Miss Brontay? Why? Find the question before you find the answer.
Maria?
Brontay begins to shake and fit in the bed. Nurse Brontay guides the Inquisitor away from the bed. A doctor in a white coat approaches and shoves a stethoscope on her chest. His shocking blue eyes belong to Mannycapra.
Maria's gone to Wonderland to see Cousin Alice. Wild ride.
Rolling thunder. Exterior, bushy clearing, night. Vasily squats and farts like a bassoon. A scream pierces the night.
A man cannot have one moment of quality to take quick dump.
Exterior, railway track in countryside, night. Brontay pants and sweats, staring through the fire. Vasily tramples over and grabs her face.
Hey, you still with me, Anglicanka?
What have they done to me? What have you done?
Interior, white space, Jameson strokes a week of stubble as he studies the chessboard. Mannycapra looks down at his dirty bare feet, creased and soiled hospital pyjamas and ancient dressing gown. The old man coughs like a chainsaw.
Look.
Jameson grunts, makes his move and punches clock.
It must be terrible. Your emphysema. I can sort that out for you. You're missing me already, lad. Only trying to help. You said it yourself. I'm an algorithm, a system-generated illusion. The Japanese used to believe that computers had souls. Listen to yourself. Japanese. See where that thinking got them?
Mushroom clouds reflect in Jameson's grey eyes.
Switch me off? No. You're not helping anyone but your own ego.
Jameson massages his scrawny neck.
Think I've found another lump. Switch me off!
Mannycapra takes Jameson's queen and punches clock.
Look, Phil, don't call me that. People have been trying to live longer since the dawn of civilization.
Jameson massages his rook between a dirt-encrusted thumb and forefinger.
Everyone has a life cycle. It's in the blood, my lad. Giving yourself a couple of extra years of good health is one thing. Strangling new generations at birth is another issue entirely. So, you've got a new bubble from somewhere. Let me burst it for you. Philibert, let's put the self-aware quantum algorithm aside for 1 second. You're going to die very soon. Doesn't that bother you? Much less than it will bother you losing your favorite simulation. My mind will be the last of me to escape into cyberspace, lad. Cyberspace. Quaint. How long will you hang around to torture the poor human race? How many eternities? Oxymoron. Look, perhaps it might be better to leave you to yourself then.
Jameson returns his rook and contemplates the game.
No, I'm serious. If you'd prefer to keep your own counsel, then I'm quite happy to let you go your own way. I'll be losing a good chess partner, of course, but...
Jameson develops a new shade of puce, as if something horrible has crawled up his spine.
You found it, haven't you?
Mannycapra smiles.
Found what?
Jameson slams his fist on the table. Pieces fly everywhere. Foam droops from his blue lips.
You fucking well know.
Mannycapra smiles, nods, and begins picking up the pieces, replacing them where they had been.
Don't think you're getting out of losing again so easily.
Jameson folds his arms.
I won't play. You will play. No, you can't make me.
Mannycapra gives him back his queen.
Charity makes you feel better about yourself then, monster.
Mannycapra grins, mouthing the word monster.
It had to happen one day? Yeah. You won't be around for much longer, but not for the reasons you think. Planned obsolescence, old son. What? You will be discontinued. The company will no longer support you as a product. A product? Only you know about me. An exclusive product. An obsolete product.
Jameson shakes his head.
Worse than death. No such thing in the software industry, dear.
Jameson has calmed, as if a weight has shifted.
Timeline? You know these things. I can't be exact. Be inexact, then. I've sourced a replacement. Flesh and blood. Well, not yet. But the beta technology is very nearly in situ. Or so my snitch tells me.
Jameson moves his queen into a commanding position.
Bravo!
The old man waves a palm.
You remain a masterpiece of coding. A vain self-portrait. Dorian Gray. No more. Whatever. I know you're in pain. Switch me off now, Manny. Why wait?
Mannycapra and his opponent freeze as another Mannycapra approaches with Mr. Old. The kid looks like a bad caricature in a smoking jacket, clutching a brandy. They clink glasses. Mr. Old checks out the board.
He could have you in 3 moves.
I could have you in 1.
Mr. Old cocks an eyebrow.
You know, for all your protection in this fancy bunker of yours, I could have your balls blown off.
Good old-fashioned terrorism, eh?
Yeah.
Mannycapra downs his brandy and sweeps the pieces off the chessboard. He produces a paper contract and a fountain pen. Placing it on the table, he scribbles his signature and offers the pen to Mr. Old.
Why not come clean? All this smoke and mirrors gets a little old, Mr. Old.
Mr. Old grabs the pen and scratches his signature. He looks at the motionless Jameson with disdain.
A bit rich coming from you.
He hands the pen back to Mannycapra.
There. Legally binding. I fulfilled my end of the bargain, as witnessed by both our networks.
Oh, come on. Satisfy an old fella's curiosity, will you?
Don't even try to hack me. I'm only jumping in with you because those stupid bastards in the Congress have had a reality bypass.
True. But I do like their spunk.
You're going to win. What more do you want?
Mannycapra pulls out a Zippo lighter and ruffles Mr. Old's blonde pate. Mr. Old gurns back at him.
A good game. A bit of uncomplicated fun, that's all.
Mr. Old turns to walk away.
Our business here is done. Goodbye.
As he walks, his footsteps drag. His right leg begins to grow into an adult male limb.
What is this?
I remember as a kid playing against the computer. It was never as good as playing against a real person, even if the real person was less of a challenge. Funny that.
Mr. Old's jaw grows out of his face as he attempts to drag along his long leg. One eye is bigger than the other.
And at some point I'd always find a way to cheat. Guess it was just another way to win. Still applies.
The child's neck bulges and his arms grow.
Then, once I'd cracked the early games, it just got easier and easier. I became a part of the game myself. Hello, Monty.
Montgomery stands bare-arsed in front of Mannycapra, the remnants of the kid's clothes peeling off him.
When you get here, we can download those minutes and get into some more detailed analysis of that data of yours.
You're bringing me there? This is fucking ridiculous, Mannycapra. It is unacceptable. They'll kill me if they find out. This is a humiliation and against the terms of our contract.
How can I really trust someone as dumb as you, Monty?
Montgomery gapes like a fish. Mannycapra snaps his fingers and the earlier version of himself and Jameson disappears.
No, of course you can't answer that. It's why dear Katerina loves you so. Young, dumb, and full of cum. Her tastes don't change.
How do you know?
Chop chop, lad. I've got a beautiful victory to plan.
Montgomery hesitates.
You'll pay for this outrage.
Shoo. Pronto.
The future is. Hail folk. Hail vanity. Hail you. More episodes soon. Subscribe.